Hi, and welcome. Today we're going to quickly look at tuning percussive elements. So yes, here we are. Here is a snare I recorded today, and it's very clear. And I'm going to look at basically 3 ways to figure out what essentially pitch it has. So the first most primal way to figure this out is with a sine wave, essentially. So play these together and figure out where the pitch is. So let's start from C. Play. I have my snare basically playing the same note, so that way only thing that changes pitch is the organ. So it's basically E flat, D sharp sort of a deal. So, and then another way we can actually do that is you do this, and let's get like a spectrum EQ and make sure it has a high resolution. So now we'll play that note again with both of these selected. So it actually looks like the root tone is like smack on, like around 110. Oh no, sorry, 200. But that might not necessarily be the tone, but that is the root tone in this situation. But as I can see by moving around this pitch wheel sort of at random, if I put the pitch on top of where that loud tone is coming from, right here, it's actually not, like, it doesn't actually fit very well, which means that the next tone, the key tone, is going to be basically one of these few peaks, which means that if we continue to follow this, we can see that this is the root tone. And then we can see what gives us that closest tone. That would be an E flat. So the tone of this is going to be E flat somewhat, and we figured that out using a sine wave. The second method is going to be using just the FabFilter Pro Q. And essentially what we're going to do is play our sample. And we're going to make sure that in our analyze, we have this option on right here, the spectrum grab. So now we're going to basically come here, beat up our snare a bunch of times while keeping our mouse kind of in the center area to the lower section. Make sure you have your MIDI, like piano basically on. Well, like not MIDI piano, but it shows basically what note it's going to be. So now we have spectrum grab on. So what actually might be helpful first is maybe taking a notch and then finding the tone. That's not a tone. That's a tone, right? Okay. And then we can see it's a D sharp. And we can kind of figure out like if it's actually in the ballpark by the flutteriness here. Because now you can hear it's... You can kind of hear that root tone is fluttering. And that doesn't sound like a root tone of this snare. So about mid D sharp is where this snare sounds the strongest, meaning that like by all wave theory that it basically has to be D sharp 4. Another way we can check this is by doing the spectrum grab. And then coming on and going ahead and just grabbing this peak, and you hold Command or Control and click. And you'll see that it put a point on D4, D sharp 4, by like positive 35 semitones. No, sorry, not semitones, cents. I think it's cents. I'm not 100% sure. Might be not. Or might be fine tune. I don't know. Yeah, so then that basically found us that pitch again. The third final method is going to be with some sort of tuner. So I have a vocal tuner here. It's off, and I'm just going to play the note. Suspicions confirmed. We have like 3 separate things telling me what the pitch is. And that's great. Sometimes this auto-tuner thing, like, just it never works because like if you have like a crazy percussion sound, it's just never going to pick it up. But sometimes it does work. Let's see. See, it doesn't work here. So then what I have to do in this situation is come in here, drop this. Let's listen for it. So I'm thinking G sharp 3. Do I know? No, we'll do this. I think it's this. Command click. G sharp 3. And if we listen again on the notch, just to make sure. It has a nice ring. Therefore, chances are this tom is G sharp 3. However, the Waves tuner did not pick that up, and sometimes that happens, and it's like unavoidable. Some like tuners, like say it's a vocal tuner, it's not meant to register percussive tunings unless they're very, very obvious. It's more for vocals. So like maybe if you have an actual percussion tuner or a guitar tuner, you could try that as well. Ableton's tuner tries real hard and it's very dependable. It tries real hard to like get the tunes of like everything. It might only be in the tail of the sound, which is kind of bad because pitch is like downwards in a decay whenever it's like in terms of percussion usually, which means that if it's catching at the end tuning, it doesn't matter because it totally missed the root, like the starting tone of that sound. So usually if I'm trying to tune stuff, I'll kind of have waves just chilling here, and then I have a fab filter like this, and I'm just like, and I'm basically doing this. And I'm like, all right. It actually might even be a G3, just G3. But yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.